Hi everyone, this is Ginger with Gingerberry Creek. Today's tutorial is about working with the pipe cleaners, or you may get like a Chenille stem from the craft store. Either one works. I prefer to use pipe cleaners. They tend to be not quite as fluffy, but the wire tends to be thicker and better to work with. So I'm going to show you how to work with the wires and how you twist them and insert them into your project. So it may be for, like, this pattern is a bunny, and then the wire is going to go into the ear so that we can bend it and shape it after we're done putting it all together. And then that way when you bend it, it stays like that. So what you'll need to do is, on your pattern, it should show you the ear headline markings. So you'll need to transfer those markings to your actual finished piece here. This is before it's been stuffed. You'll need to mark those lines with a disappearing ink pen and have those ready. This is so that you can sew along these lines. They're a guideline for sewing. And then what you'll need to do is take however many stems or pipe cleaners that you'll need, and you may need to cut these down first depending on what your pattern will tell you. So you'll need to either cut them down, or these are 12 inches long, the ones that I have here. And what I'm going to do is, the first thing that I'm going to do is fold it in half. So just bring it down. It doesn't have to be perfect, just fold it in half. So now you've got it in half like this. And then on the pattern it'll tell you to twist the stems together. So you fold it in half here, and now what I'm telling you to do is take these. You're going to leave kind of a loop here at the end. So you're going to leave a loop like that at the end, and then you're just going to take and twist the stems, hold the stems together, and then just twist and twist them together all the way down the length of the pipe cleaner or Chenille stem. So now it looks like that. One end has a loop and the other end has the two pieces, the two stems, like that. Alright, so I'm going to do that to my second one. I'm going to fold it in half, bring those tips together down here, squeeze a little bit, kind of crisscross them to make this loop. Doesn't have to be a big loop, just a loop like that. And then now I'm going to twist, hang on to this side, and then I'm just going to twist. And you can do this real tight. The tighter you do it, the shorter this is going to get. Or if you don't twist it quite as tight, then it'll be a little bit longer. But you twist all the way down, and sometimes it's a little off like that, but that's okay. No big deal. Just have your tools. This is a wire cutter. I don't recommend using your scissors because you'll dull your scissors really quick, but just clean that up so that they're together. Just like that. So now I have both of them ready. Those are folded in half, and then I twisted the stems together so that they stay together. And then I have pre-marked my lines. These are my sewing lines. And then I'm going to turn my piece over, and I'm going to insert with the loop in first. Okay, I'm going to take, here's my opening. I'm going to insert into the ear all the way to the top. So feel around on it, try to center it up. So there's my stem right there. And now I'm going to take my second one, and I'm going to insert all the way, the looped in all the way to the tip of the ear. Fill around, straighten it up. Okay, once I have them both in, I'm going to flip my piece over. You may have to kind of straighten from the back side a little bit. And what I'm going to do is take a pin, a straight pin, and once I have that centered on the ear, you can kind of see it under the fabric right there. Once it's centered, I try to center it right here in the middle of this line. I'm going to just kind of pin around it to kind of hold it in place, just like that. So now it's there, and that looped in is here, and those other ends stick out here. All right, so now I'm going to straighten this one up. Make sure if I have to, I'll kind of reach in from behind, straighten it up so it centers up here on this line. Okay, now I'm going to go ahead and pin kind of around that to hold it. All right, so now they're pinned. Now we're going to take this to the sewing machine and we're going to sew along these lines over the pipe cleaner. We're going to start here, sew along this line over the pipe cleaner and over to this corner. So you're going to back stitch at the beginning, then you're going to go over this. Sometimes you'll need to hand crank over this, and if you know the needle, because you don't want to break your needle when it's real, you know, thick right here, because that's metal in there, that wire. Sometimes you'll need to hand crank over this, and then you can then continue sewing regularly and then backstitch at this. But I'm going to take this to the sewing machine and show you how to do that next. All right, here we are at the sewing machine. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sew on this line on this ear and then on this other ear and across those pipe cleaners that we've inserted. So I use on my sewing machine an open toe foot here. It makes it easier to see my drawn lines and where I'm sewing. So I like to use these. You just can buy this extra, you know, at your local sewing shop, and you know they make them for either the low shank or the high shank sewing machines. So this is a really good tool to have so that you can see when you're sewing across these markings like this. So I've got my thread, my bobbin thread, my top thread. So I'm going to insert this here, and on my foot I have a little line marker on the back side, so it helps me line up my my line here with the line that's back there, my guide line. I'm gonna lower my presser foot, and now I'm gonna feel where this stem is at, because I want to be very careful when I sew over that. In fact, sometimes I use this sewing awl to kind of push around and feel for it. So if you have one of those, that's a good thing. And I try to do that and hold it there so I know that it's coming up, because then what I'm going to do is slow down and then hand crank across that pipe cleaner. So here we go. What you're going to first do is you're going to start sewing. Take a few stitches, and then I'm going to back stitch. Then I'm going to go forward again. And I do this very slowly because I don't want to break a needle or miss something. So I'm going to go slow, take a couple stitches, kind of feel where it's at, and take another stitch. Alright, so now I'm right next to this pipe cleaner right here. I can feel it right there. So I'm right next to it. So now I'm going to manually hand crank this and go real slow. And let it kind of move and feel. If I get to where I feel the pipe cleaner, then what I'll do is kind of back it up, lift my presser foot like that, adjust it, and then try going forward again. So I'm going to hand crank again. I'm almost past that pipe cleaner. I think right there now I am, yep, I'm past the pipe cleaner. So now I've sewn over that pipe cleaner. I'm going to go ahead and finish sewing along this line to this corner here. I'm going to take a couple stitches backwards. So I'm going to back stitch and then go forward again. Alright, I'm all the way done. Now I'm going to cut my threads, lift my presser foot, and pull that out. You can see where I have sewn across that line. I'm going to go ahead and remove this pin just to get it out of the way, and then I'm going to go ahead and let's sew this other side. All right, I'm going to pull my thread back out, give myself some more thread there so it doesn't get tangled up. And now I'm going to go ahead and sew this other side. So I'm going to insert my piece here at the corner, lower my presser foot, adjust as I need. Again, I'm going to feel for where that pipe cleaner is at, and I'm going to go ahead and begin sewing. So I'm going to take a few stitches forward. Now I'm going to reverse, take a couple of back stitches to lock that stitch in, and then I'm going to go forward. I'm going to go forward, feel for where this pipe cleaner is at. It's about there, so I'm going to go forward a few more stitches. Right there, I'm at the edge of it. So now I'm going to hand crank again over my pipe cleaner. So go slow. There we go. I believe I'm now past that pipe cleaner. If the needle should come down onto that, you would need to just kind of back that back out a little bit, lift your presser foot, adjust the piece, lower the presser foot, and then continue hand cranking until you get past that. But I am past that now. So I am now past that pipe cleaner. So I'm going to now finish up sewing across this line. Okay, I'm going to go backwards a few stitches to lock in the stitch. Alright, now I'm going to clip my threads, lift my presser foot, and now remove that pin again. So both ears are sewn. So now what we're going to do is we're going to flip this over and clip back these wires, because you don't need them this long into the body. So let me get that section ready for you. Alright, so we have now sewn across both ears. So there they are. I'm going to go ahead and clip my threads off. once I get these cut, that's good. So now what we're gonna do is, there's the pipe cleaner into the ear. So now when you bend it, it'll stay. But we have this, if you pull back, you have a lot of pipe cleaner now in there, and you don't need that much pipe cleaner in there because then it'll just get in the way when you go to stuff. So usually I measure out about 1/2 inch. Get my wire clippers. I'm going to clip back and clip that off. And then with this one, before I move to the next one, I'm going to take this and I'm going to fold it over so that we don't have this point here, because sometimes that can stick through the fabric, so we don't want that. So what I'm going to do is grab it with some needle nose pliers here. I'm going to bend that over and squish to flatten them out. And now it's just a kind of a little nub sticking out, but that way that those ends of the wire won't poke through. So that's that side, that ear. So now I'm going to do the same thing for this one. Pull back that, make sure your wire stays put. It should. Alright, so now I'm going to go ahead and cut this like I did the other one, about 1/2 inch. And now I'm going to fold this back, or fold this over, and squish them down and together. So it's like another loop at this end to hold in place, and then that way the wires don't stick through. And then I flatten them, and then I am done with that. Now what I'll do is the pens that I have, they're disappearing ink pens. Now I'll take this to the iron and get rid of that line, so it's just the stitching, and I'll finish stuffing and going to the next step. But I wanted to bring you this tutorial on how to work with the wires, the pipe cleaners, the Chenille stems, how to insert them in your ears on your project, or on, it might be the arms, whichever it is. This is how I do it, and I wanted to bring that to you and show you, because I wasn't real sure if you knew what I meant by twisting the stems and all of that. So anyway, that's today's tutorial, working with the pipe cleaners or Chenille stems, and I hope that you've enjoyed, and please check out my other tutorials that I have available for you. And if you have any questions, you can always email me your questions and I'll help you the best that I can. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.